Hello everyone, this is Pavane Threadbare. Welcome back to LA Noire.
Phelps, Bukowski. B-Cop says he located a green Kaiser Fraser from the hot sheet. Address is 6 West 2nd Street. Get over there, see what you can find out. Go on. Sorry to inconvenience you.
We're on it, Captain.
You have your assignment, Detective. Best be about it.
Oh. That was over quickly.
I swear the more bent cars we bring in, the longer the hot sheet gets.
It pays the rent, though. Keeps Mrs. Phelps in the manner to which she's accustomed.
I'm not sure she'd agree with you.
Passionate, romantic type like you, Cole? I don't believe a word.
Why is that door barred? Alright, anyway, I do appreciate the short briefing because this is going to be a long mission.
You're behind the wheel.
They're calling her the Dahlia now. Wonder what Veronica Lake makes of that one.
What a case. You hear whether they're making any progress?
Captain Donnelly seems to think they have it all wrapped up. Brown and Green are sweating this Manley character. I heard it'll be in front of a grand jury by next week.
Poor thing. Terrible enough being murdered like that without having her death strewn all over the front page.
We're talking about the Black Dahlia case, a famous unsolved murder mystery from the 1940s of LA. In January, which is still the month we're on.
That's the car, Cole. Just pulling out of the drive. Get him. Remember, we need him healthy enough to answer questions.
1247, Detective Phelps, requesting immediate backup in pursuit of a stolen green Kaiser Fraser from 6 West 2nd Street.
By the way, Kaiser Fraser is another actual car company that went defunct in the 1950s. Or, well, sort of.
Enough games, Phelps. Take this guy out.
See, Kaiser Fraser became just Kaiser after Fraser backed out of the business in the 50s. That's when the name disappeared. But the company actually lasted for quite a while after that. You see,
His wheel arches. Come on.
they got the Jeep contract. They were the one producing Jeeps for civilian purposes for a long time. Till eventually they were eaten up by AMC, I believe it's called. American Motor Company.
All right. Maybe I was a couple miles over the speed limit.
Get bracelets
Out
on
of the
it,
car
Phelps.
now!
I'll call it in.
Show me your hands! Why did you run from us?
I saw a big car in my rearview mirror with two tough guys bearing down on me. What would you do?
What's your name?
Cliff Harrison.
You're under arrest.
For what? What are you talking about?
Nice try. I'm talking about the car being stolen.
You're out of your mind. I bought the car, and I've got the paperwork to prove it.
Looks like we'll have some questions for the people at Coombs Automotive.
His little excuse doesn't really make sense. I mean, he would have heard the siren, and he did make a quip about the speed limit as we pulled him over. Nice shape the car's in, though, oddly enough.
You purchased this car from Coombs Automotive Company?
Yeah, that's right.
There's no such thing as Coombs Automotive, is there? You're sending us on a wild goose chase.
I suggest you check your facts.
Looks like I made a mistake. And the ownership papers?
From the same place.
If this is a forgery, it's top-notch. This will need to be traced.
The back is for selling the car. That's why it's not filled out.
You have a criminal record, Mr. Harrison?
No. Nothing like that.
Enough lies. If you have a record, we'll find it eventually.
I go to USC. I've never been in trouble in my whole life. You can check up on me all you want. You won't find a thing.
You don't ask, you never find out. You better give us something, Cliff, or we're gonna make this hard on you.
I didn't steal the car. I ran because I've got some wacky backy in the glove compartment.
How much, Cliff?
1 reefer.
We'll let it slide. You're in enough trouble.
One reefer is not enough to run about.
Who did you deal with at Coombs Automotive?
The owner, Richard Coombs.
Either you stole the car from Coombs, or you're delivering stolen merchandise for him. Which is it?
Do you have any proof of what you're saying?
It's nothing personal. I'm just doing my job. You understand that? And he made out the bill of sale personally?
Of course he did. He kept a facsimile for his records. Check with him.
We're going to get to the bottom of this, Harrison. Until we do, you're going downtown.
You gotta be kidding me. I'm getting arrested for buying a goddamn car?
If everything is legit, Harrison, you'll be out soon. Until then, if I were you, I'd keep my mouth shut.
Bag his possessions as evidence, and have him arraigned for grand theft auto.
Right, Detective.
Do you know who my father is?
We need to get to Coombs Auto and check out Harrison's story.
All right, well, sure enough. You'll note that he gave us the first bit of evidence before we questioned him, so we basically guaranteed that we'd be going there.
Can you drive to this one? You know what? I think he's telling the truth.
Some of the most convincing people you will ever listen to are born liars. Usually they're called politicians.
Did something happen to Bukowski in the past? Because that's the second time he's brought that up. Well, this is a non-associated dealership here. Used cars only.
Not another step. I have got a Buick Century sedan that would be absolutely perfect for you.
Detective Phelps, LAPD, are you the owner?
That's right. Richard Coombs at your service. You looking to trade in a black and white, boys?
Mr. Coombs, we're investigating an auto theft. A man by the name of Cliff Harrison claims he bought the car here.
Well, some people would say that my cars are a steal. That's a joke, son.
Very amusing, Mr. Coombs.
I remember Harrison. It was a green two-tone Kaiser Frazer, if I remember rightly.
Do you have the bill of sale?
It's in my office. Walk this way. That's a joke too, son.
Phelps, you mind if I shoot this guy? He's getting on my nerves.
Any ideas?
All right, find out what Coombs knows about our lead-footed friend, Cliff Harrison.
How come the only car dealers we meet are behind the DLC cases?
Here it is. Got the original pink slip there, too.
Seems like it would be a central aspect to being on the traffic desk.
Gene Archer, 146 North Fremont Avenue.
That's zooming in on the Marquee Printing Co., if you were wondering.
Harrison's purchase receipt was legit, at least.
Looks like it was recent enough that it makes sense he was carrying it. Otherwise, he would have had car registration papers instead.
We have a couple of questions.
All right, fellas. Shoot.
Can you tell us how you came to buy the car?
Girl just wandered in right off the street.
You're lying. You buy stolen cars and then resell them.
You have some evidence to back up that outrageous aspersion?
You're off the hook. For now. Nothing unusual about the car.
Not really my usual type of vehicle. The price was certainly right, though. Nice girl, but about as sharp as a bag of wet mice.
Did you pay with check or cash?
A check. She wanted it made out to cash, but I insisted. Man has to watch his cash flow.
What name?
I made it out to Gene Archer on the Bank of Arcadia.
Can you describe this Gene Archer?
Brunette, maybe 25, 26. Little on the plump side, but not bone ugly.
You're making this up. There's no Gene Archer. She's fictional, to cover up the fact that you sold a stolen car.
How long did you say you'd been standing out in the sun? I hope you can prove that nefarious allegation.
Sorry. Sometimes you have to shake the tree to see what falls out. What was your impression of her?
Kind of harried and harassed, in a hurry to go somewhere but no place to go. You get to know the type.
Do you know anything about the company that prints these pink slips?
Nope. Should I? It isn't exactly my business.
It says Marquee Printing. You've never heard of them?
Marquis. Sure. They do all the government red tape. You'll find the place down on Aliso Street near San Pedro.
How would he know the address?
When exactly did you hand over the check, Mr. Combs?
Close of play on Friday.
I think you paid her in cash. This bogus check means that you can claim against your business insurance if it all goes wrong.
You got some way of proving that, Sonny?
Looks like I was mistaken. Why didn't you pay her cash? You knew the car was dirty.
I had an inkling. When people are in a hurry for money, always pay by check, son. Gives you a couple days to back out.
Well, he was right.
This was all above board.
Yes, of course it was.
You're lying, Coombs. You knew the car was stolen.
You have some sort of crystal ball tucked in your jacket that can help you prove it?
Sorry. My mistake. Did this look legitimate to you, Coombs?
I'm in used cars, son, not bearer bonds. In my business, you don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Now don't come on all high and mighty with me if you want my help.
Thanks for your help, Mr. Coombs. We need to continue the investigation.
Hope you sort out your problem with Mr. Harrison. Go easy on him, son. Boy's about as sharp as a bowling ball. He's built too low. The fastballs fly over his head.
Let me shoot this guy, please. You have a pleasant day, Mr. Coombs.
You know, for a used car salesman, he sure has a terrible poker face.
Well, Harrison might be off the hook, but we can still run an APB on Gene Archer. Get on the horn and call it in.
And you'll notice that not only do they appear on the mini-map, but they also light up when you need to call using one of these phones.
Phelps, badge 1247.
How can I help, Detective?
That's the guy.
Requesting an APB on Gene Archer, age approximately 25, on suspicion of Grand Theft Auto.
I'll relay the information.
Messages for me, please.
A James Velasco is being held at Central Station on suspicion of GTA. Possible link to the Harrison case. They're waiting on you to conduct the interview.
Thank you.
Interesting that they would think it was connected. Well, you've got to wonder why the police down at headquarters would expect that. Now let's see about this supposed address here. And let's take one of these cars instead of the usual one.
You can drive.
Hey, what the hell are you doing?
Here's a chicken and egg question for you. Do you think you have to be an asshole to sell cars? Or that selling cars turns you into an asshole?
You've got it in for everyone today, haven't you?
I've always got it in for car sales. Doesn't matter what day it is. And why do they always think they're comedians when they're about as funny as a heart attack?
Maybe the more annoying they are, the quicker you sign on the dotted line, just to get the hell out of there.
For meals that are satisfying.
Interesting idea.
Empty. Should have known that Archer broad would have given us a false address.
Well, on the plus side, we have confirmed the fact that it's false.
We should go to the station, see what this Velasco guy has to say.
Yeah, the Central Police Station thing does seem more pressing. Marquee printing will be there no matter what.
Detectives, Velasco is prepped and ready in 2. Another stolen car with legit papers.
Thanks. Oh, little twist.
I guess they must have radioed in that fact. That would be how they know about it.
They weren't even his prints and he still confessed.
One nice thing about egotists, they don't talk about other people.
Beat her up
Crummy
so bad.
bastard.
When I found him, I returned the favor.
James Velasco?
I want a lawyer. It's my car and I got the proof right here. Take a look for yourself.
The paper is real enough, Velasco, but the car isn't yours. This pink slip is a forgery.
Same address. Nothing interesting on the back.
Don't mind me.
In case we didn't see the other guy's pink slip, now we
Where were
do.
you taking the car, James?
Blow it off, greenhorn. You'll get nothing from me.
You're a 2-time loser. If you don't give me something, I'm gonna ask the DA for the maximum. You're looking at 10 years, Velasco. Kiss your youth goodbye.
I want a deal.
Keep talking and we'll see what sort of deal you're worth.
My job is to drive the cars out of state. Nevada, Arizona, sometimes New Mexico. With the paperwork they provide, it's normally a breeze.
This guy's got a lot of bluster in him.
Does the name Jean Archer mean anything to you?
Nope. Never heard of her.
You're a liar, James.
Say that again. I'm telling the truth. I don't know the broad.
Well, they're both using the same fake address. Doesn't mean they know each other, but they're certainly working with each other.
So that's why you both have the same address printed on your pink slips. She's a mule for these stolen vehicles, genius. Same as you.
Jesus. All right, I know her. Stupidest broad I ever met. Always cooking up crazy schemes. I don't know why those guys use her. You happy now?
What happens to the cars once they cross over the state lines?
I don't know. I just deliver them.
You're lying. You deliver the cars here in L.A.
You're gonna need more than a guess to pin that one on me.
Yeah, he's right.
Nothing personal. I'm just doing my job. You understand that? Give me something, Velasco, or I'll take you back to the cells and tell the whole station you're a child molester.
God damn.
You'll last.
Okay, okay. I hear you. The cars get sold in Chicago or back east. Sometimes I bring back cars coming the other way.
Where do you pick up the cars, Velasco?
Warehouses. Mainly in East downtown.
You're lying, Velasco. You steal the cars yourself and then provide them to the ring.
I'd like to see you prove that, copper.
You're off the hook. For now. An address, Velasco. You want my help with the DA? Cough it up. Now.
A place on Industrial Street. I don't know the number. You're gonna help me out, right?
Keep talking, kid, and we'll see what we can do.
All right, James. We're gonna check if this information is worth anything.
And if it is, I need your help here, pal.
If it is, then we'll know you're a man of your word, and so will the DA.
You're Phelps, right?
Yes, I am. Look, can we do this later? I'm in the middle of it.
Ray Pinker. I'm with Technical Services. The pink slips are all real.
Yes, we know that.
There's only one company that prints them in California, the Marquee Printing Company. They've confirmed that the numbers are legitimate.
You've checked them out?
Sure. They're on Aliso Street, near the corner of San Pedro. The guy I spoke to was Lightval. Gordon Lightval. Here, I wrote it down.
Thanks, Ray. This is a great lead. We'll get down there as soon as we can.
And this is in case you screwed up the discussion with the used car salesman.
Say all's fair in love and war.
Phelps, your GTA suspect, Gene Archer, spotted by a patrolman. Western Union office, 253 South Hill. Less than a minute away down the street if you run. Go! She won't hang around.
We'll be there even faster if we take a car. And that's why I chose the police car.
Come on! We don't want to lose her!
So we can use the siren to clear the street. She really is just right over here, though.
It'll only take a little while.
Notice the fence to protect against people breaking the glass and getting in.
What's taking so goddamn long? Give me my money or give me my check back.
If I don't get this finished, I'm blaming you.
LAPD. We'll take it from here.
God damn it. Everyone's against me. Look, just let me get my money and get out of here, okay? You look sweet. How about giving a girl a break? That could be very nice.
I'm afraid I can't do that, Miss Archer. Stefan, call for black and white.
Just my luck to get the only hair sure cop in the LAPD.
How else could he have resisted all that?
The car you sold to Coombs was stolen, Miss Archer. There won't be any money.
I handed over all the right paperwork when I sold it, Buster.
Man, Bukowski, how did you get back so fast?
You're lying, Gene.
You want to prove that, Buster? Try and prove that pink slip is not real.
For that particular evidence, we can't.
Looks like I was mistaken. Gene, you've blown open the whole operation because you were dumb enough to try to sell one of the cars. What do you think they're going to do to you? Give me something.
I was just doing what they do. They paid me $50 to drive the car. I made $2 grand selling it.
You made $0. And if they catch you, you're dead. Is that all your life's worth?
Look, a girl needs things. I don't see you looking out for me.
How long have you and Belasco been delivering cars?
Who is James Belasco?
Why would she just drop his first name like that?
You're lying. James Belasco. I don't remember mentioning his first name, Miss Archer.
Oh, I think you did, didn't you? Well, I'm sure of it. Anyway, I don't know him.
You aren't sharp enough to lie to me, Gene. You and James Belasco share the same address on your pink slips. We have him in a cell.
Okay, so I know the creep. The pink slips are real. The home addresses are always vacant lots. Bigelow is always boasting that the paperwork is legit and that if we stick to our stories...
And don't try and sell the car?
Yeah, that too.
Tell me where you picked up the car, Miss Archer.
Look, I can't remember. Let me go, will you? Please. What have I got to do?
Trying my patience here, Gene. I'll have the reporters down here and have your picture in all the papers. You'll have nowhere to run.
All right already. I get the message. I pick up the cars from a guy named Bigelow. 58 Industrial Street. Big warehouse full of goons. Now you've got what you want. Can I go? Please?
No, you sure can. We've got a car waiting outside for you.
Some career advice, Gene. Get out of crime. Marry someone boring who has money and will find you captivating.
Is this guy for real?
He takes a little getting used to, but yeah, he generally means what he says.
A hair shirt, by the way, is like a rough fur shirt worn by ascetic monks. So she wasn't calling him gay, she was calling him celibate.
If I don't get this finished, I'm blaming you.
Well, I could take the cop car, but there's this driving lot right over here. Look at all these cars. I could take any one of them I wanted. And I like this red one. But first, let's line up our destination. Finish looking up this Marquee Printing Company lead.
You know the way. You can drive.
Friendly lonely girl.
Used to getting her own way.
Little did she know her feminine charms were useless against the impenetrable Cole Phelps.
She's not my type.
And what is your type, Phelps?
I'm married.
I know that, but you're not blind or dead inside, are you? Wait, scrap that second half of the question.
I don't know. Blondes, I guess.
Hallelujah! The man is human after all. Now we're getting somewhere. Yep, I'm with you on the blondes. Brunettes are fine too. And there's nothing wrong with a good redhead. But I draw the line at gray. You know what? I might have to lift that embargo soon in the interest of maintaining a free market.
A man with high standards.
The standards are only as high as the last glass of whiskey.
And with great driving skills. Nice sign.
What the hell?
Who's complaining back there?
That broad has socks in it, Brazil.
And what can I do for you, gentlemen?
I'm a traffic detective from Central Division. Who's in charge here?
I am, Gordon Lightfall. What's this about?
We understand that your company prints California vehicle titles.
Yes, I have the government contract to print pink slips. I've done for some years.
Have you had any goods or equipment stolen recently? We're running up against stolen cars with seemingly legitimate paperwork.
Not recently. Have you ruled out forgery? There's no shortage of talented artists in this town.
We'll keep it in mind. We have some questions for you, Mr. Lightfall. Mr. Lightfall, we're currently working 2 auto theft cases. Do you know anything about a car theft ring?
Certainly not. Why would I get mixed up in a thing like that?
I think you're in this up to your neck, Lightfall.
You're out of your mind. What an allegation. I'll report you to your superiors. The chief of police is a very good friend of mine.
This is not a very good actor.
Sorry. Sometimes you have to shake the tree to see what falls out.
We have suspects with legitimate pink slips that were printed here, Lightfall. You better give me something before I bring the whole department down here.
Don't be hysterical, detective. As a matter of fact, we had a similar problem a couple of years ago. A number of used car lots were selling blank documents to a criminal organization.
Do the names Cliff Harrison and James Belasco mean anything to you?
No, they do not.
You sure about that, Mr. Lightfall? You sure you've never heard of them?
Are you making an accusation, young man? Do you have any kind of proof?
Looks like I made a mistake.
Harrison bought his car from Coombs. The pink slip looks good, and that points the finger here. Do you have any employee trouble?
No, I don't. They've all been carefully screened. Look, now that I think about it, the name Coombs sounds familiar. I think they may have been involved in stolen documents in the past.
Just loves deflecting, doesn't he?
Do you have a delivery ledger, Mr. Lightfall? We would like to cross-check against the Coombs Automotive Emporium.
It's a little out of the ordinary, Detective. I'm not sure I can share those sorts of records.
Hand it over, Lightfall. You don't want us having bad thoughts about you, do you?
Very well, but this really is irregular. Over here.
It's not that irregular. They are the police.
Look for patterns, recurring names, unusual addresses, anything out of the ordinary.
Each of these names just usually appears only once each, except...
You certainly encourage repeat business, Lightfall. This Mr. Bigelow is a good customer. Sorry to bother you, sir. We'll let you know if there are any developments.
And that is yet another way of getting the address for the warehouse. You know, in case you don't go back to central headquarters. Also, we are stealing your truck, Lightfall.
You drive. I need to go over the case notes. For a couple of black and whites. Get Fleischer down here.
I thought you Marines were gung-ho, Cole. You have a 45. Don't you ever want to use it? I'll take the back. Just give me a few seconds to get around there.
He was a Marine, which is why he doesn't want to use it. Meanwhile, Bukowski is just loving it with that little hop over the cardboard box. Completely unnecessary. He is really into it right at the moment.
Cole Phelps, LAPD. All of you are coming downtown with me.
I think so.
Gotta be careful around here.
Throw out the guns.
Now, luckily, this is continuous cover here. So I can make some pretty good headshots from here. I ducked down just in time. That clipped him. Uh-oh. Come on. Stick your head out. Or don't. I can nail you from here. They've got some very intelligent
Get in cover!
limits on where the invisible walls are, so you can shoot through a lot of different things in this game. As opposed to others where it's basically...
Stay down!
Basically, even like a grating or a railing like that up there would block your shots. That's not true about this game. It's just very nice. I prefer it this way. Even if it can be used against me. It's at least more realistic. Plus, nobody's nearly as good a shot as I am, and I think you can shoot that engine block up there, and there's definitely a red barrel that explodes.
How long do you think you can hold out?
Because, you know, this is a video game. Of course there's a red barrel you can shoot and it explodes.
Stay in cover! Try the door at the end. I heard something.
Alright, but first I got something else I need to do. Yeah, Tommy guns are really dangerous in this game. Yeah, I got my hat back. Now we can continue.
All right, don't shoot! Keep your hands up. Watch him, Bukowski. He doesn't move until I've tossed this place.
What do we have here?
Marquee Printing Company. There's nothing like going direct to the source.
Betting slip. Looks like Mr. Lightfall has been on a losing streak.
Now why would he just keep that in a pile on a desk, though? Maybe he's holding that as evidence, so he can blackmail Lightfall.
There are enough slips here to keep them stealing cars till Christmas. We've got a trail of pink slips and stolen cars that leads right to your door, Bigelow. You're in this up to your neck, but I don't think you're the man in charge. Make it easier on yourself. Give him up.
I do work on cars for customers. You charge in here shooting up the place like it's the Ballad of Bulge. I can't give you anything.
We know about marquee printing. You can make this easier on yourself by giving us your man on the inside.
I sometimes repair cars and put them back on the road. I need a pink slip to resell them. There's no problem there.
There are at least 4 dead men in this warehouse. A couple more. Punks won't make for that much extra paperwork. We'd be doing the legal system a favor.
Okay, tough guy. I get the message. Lightfall. The guy who runs Marquis. He's the big shot. He likes to spend big at the track. He owes people.
Lightfall. The guy with no luck at the track. Tell me about him.
It's one of the guys lying over there. You're right. He has no luck.
What a horrible attempt at a lie.
That's the best lie you can come up with, Bigelow?
Hey, would I lie to you, detective? I'm not exactly in a good position here now, am I?
Well, we talked with him earlier, so...
Gordon Lightball owns Marquis Printing, a government print shop. He's losing big at the track.
He has these big government contracts. He's in hock over 20 grand. If the feds find out, contracts will be all over. Lightfall plays ball.
All right, Bigelow. The heat is off you. Play your cards right and you'll be able to count your time in Quentin on one hand.
This would be why gambling debts would have, gotten rid of those government contracts. Because this would have happened. Like how it did. Only one thing left to do now. Despite what Cole said to try and get Bigelow to talk, pretty sure that the situation here is that Lightfall and Bigelow both basically came up with this idea.
This town is going straight to hell.
Lightfall owed a lot of money. Bigelow had this idea on how to get a lot of money. One thing led to another, and here we are. Now let's wrap this case up and put a bow on it.
Can you drive to this one?
What a mess.
Gonna take some cleaning up, that's for sure.
I wish it hadn't gone that way.
Well, they shouldn't bring guns to work with them. We didn't have a lot of choice.
You have to admire the barefaced cheek of someone who tries to blow your brains out one minute and pleads innocence the next.
Yeah, especially when he's surrounded by evidence. But guys like Bigelow spend so much time convincing themselves that they're not doing anything wrong, that they actually start to believe their own bullshit.
They get sloppy. Bigelow, Lightball, all of them. If they hadn't, who knows how long they could have kept this racket going.
Complacency or greed. It's always one of the two that brings them down.
In this case, it was greed. Maybe some complacency. Mostly greed, though. Hey, Lightfall, we've brought your truck back. Hope you're happy, because it's the last time you'll be seeing it in years.
You're under arrest.
You again? This harassment is starting to wear thin.
We found a box of pink slips in a warehouse full of hot cars. You signed for them, Lightball.
I signed for all the orders and deliveries. You'll need something better than that, cowboy.
Oh, we got something better than that.
Save it, Lightball. We already have all we need to send you down.
I've had enough of this. You either produce some shred of proof, or I call my attorney.
All the way down the list, we got gambling debts.
You're in the hole with the organization. We know about the debts, Lightball.
I agree, I have a small problem. I'm prepared to help you in any way I can, Detective. I'll name names. I need you to keep this out of the paper. You
need to shut up now, Lightball. Gordon Lightball, I'm charging you with conspiracy and fraud. Hands behind your back.
The LAPD Central Traffic Division has today smashed a nationwide auto theft ring, writes crime correspondent, blah, blah, blah. Oh, here it is. Traffic squad detectives confronted a large group of armed thugs. After an exchange of gunfire, More than a dozen dead criminals were removed from the scene. The LAPD sustained no casualties. Damn fine work, Phelps. Now get out there and nail some more bad guys, will you? I want to finish reading this.
Once again, Bukowski is chopped liver. Only minor damage to the city rendered in the process.
My family runs a shipping business in San Francisco. We used to have 2 ships a week to Tokyo. We've been in shipping for 2 generations, Hank. I've never been on a voyage anywhere. I feel like Odysseus in the beginning of his journey.
The Odyssey took 10 years, Cole.
Well, 20 in grand total.
This is the American century. America can rule the world after we win this war.
We need to stay alive, Cole. These men are counting on us. Have you heard what the veterans are saying to each other?
No.
Golden Gate and 48. That's 4 more hard years of fighting.
We've taken our first real look at organized crime in today's case, so for today's film, we'll be doing the same thing. Our subject today is a classic noir that focuses not on the drama of one person versus another, but on the drama of one man who has set himself against society. Today's film is White Heat. The story about the story. When I was talking about Rebel Without a Cause, I mentioned that a big part of the reason why that movie came to be a classic is because of the performance of James Dean. However, he wasn't the only saving grace of Rebel. The other 2 leads put in great performances of their own. Most of the supporting cast showed remarkable dedication to their roles, and the director, Nicholas Ray, knew exactly what he wanted the movie to be. And even when the studio meddled, it was to improve the camera technology and point out some logical fallacies in the climax. On the other hand, White Heat is all James Cagney. Back in the 1930s and 40s, Hollywood studios were focused on pumping out as many films as possible for as little money as they could manage. It was a stifling time to be a creative. On the one hand, you had to take the films the studio handed down, or else you'll be punished with B-movie status. B-movies, by the way, were the second part of a double feature whose budgets were even tighter than A-movies like Citizen Kane and The Maltese Falcon. But on the other hand, if you had some skill, if you caught a break, and if your movie became successful, you could become nationally or even internationally famous. James Cagney entered this system the way a lot of his contemporaries did, from Broadway. He actually started out with dancing chorus roles, and then moved on to larger and more serious roles throughout the 1920s. He was actually a brilliant dancer. In 1930, he starred in a play that got the attention of Warner Brothers, who eventually gave him a 7-year contract, and people were noting even at that point that Cagney had a way of stealing the show even when he wasn't a main character. Cagney was generally assigned the roles of gangsters and tough guys, and his first major breakout came in 1931 with the pre-code gangster movie The Public Enemy. And in 1932, he made Taxi, the first movie in which he danced, and the source of his commonly misquoted line, "You dirty rat." Despite his continued success, Cagney hated the top-down creative approach and the studio contracts that didn't reflect the kind of money he was bringing in. And although his success gave him some leeway, he eventually left to start a farm in '36. He came back towards the end of that year to make movies for an independent studio, Grand National Films. But when they went defunct, he returned to Warner when they offered him a better contract. After that, Cagney started more gangster films like The Roaring Twenties, but also films like Each Dawn I Die, which criticized the contemporary prison system, and Yankee Doodle Dandy, which is about George M. Cohan, the man who practically invented the American musical. Apparently, Cohen lived just long enough to see the movie and thank Cagney for his performance personally. In 1942, Cagney went independent again with Cagney Productions, and you can see from his choice of films in this period that he preferred the role of ace reporter exposing corruption to the tough guy gangster roles Warner constantly pushed him into. Unfortunately, audiences preferred Cagney as the tough guy, and so when he spent most of the film The Time of Your Life stuck in a chair, it was a commercial flop. Once again, Cagney was forced to go back to Warner, but on the plus side, his new contract gave him more creative control than just about any other actor in Hollywood. 1949's White Heat was Cagney's first film after his second return, and although Cagney saw the production as a low-budget, by-the-numbers affair, the experience and creative control he brought to Cody Jarrett made White Heat the ultimate James Cagney gangster film. The story. We begin with a great train robbery. Cagney's Cody Jarrett is in charge of a small criminal gang who forces a train to stop along the California state line so that they can steal a big currency transfer from one of the cars. When the engineer overhears someone saying Cody's name, he shoots both the engineer and the fireman, an act which incidentally blasts one of Cody's men with steam. Still, the gang gets away and we meet the whole cast in a safe house in the northern Sierras. Big Ed wants to knock off Cody and replace him, an ambition that he's not very good at concealing. Cody's mother is acting as a cover and a team mom for the gang, cooking dinner for everyone, and Cody's wife, Verna, resents her husband and seems to have something going on with Ed. Cody suddenly gets a massive headache and stumbles into the bedroom as his mother follows and comforts him. In the process, Cody sits on his mother's lap, a grown man, and apparently this was a let's see if we can get away with it moment during the production. Surprisingly natural though, and afterwards Ma Jarrett toasts her son with the phrase, "top of the world." After Cody recovers, one of the gang members comes in and says there's a storm coming. A storm Cody knows will keep everyone too busy to look for the gang as they escape. They have to leave the scalded guy behind, and Cody tells the guy's friend to shoot him. But of course, the guy only shoots the air and gives the poor burned guy a pack of cigarettes and a promise that he'll send a doctor as soon as he can. Unfortunately, nobody finds him in time and his body winds up in the morgue. This is where the law enforcement technology plotline begins. Treasury Department investigators use the dead body to gather evidence, and a spectrograph links dust on the man's clothes with dust from the train hijacking, while fingerprints on the cigarette box link him with Jarrett's gang. Later, a team man spots Ma Jarrett buying strawberries, and they tail her back to the Jarrett motel room using a coordinated 3-car relay. When they catch up with them, they find out they're in a radio blackout zone, and one of them, Philip Evans, decides to confront Cody without any backup. Cody shoots first and escapes in a coupe, eventually losing his pursuers in a drive-in theater. As they catch their breath, Cody explains that he'll be escaping to Illinois in order to take a state rap for someone else's robbery, a robbery which conveniently gives him an alibi for the train job. Ma Jarrett gives the Treasury men nothing, and so they decide to send a man, Hank Fallon, into Cody's prison to try and get him to talk. Predictably, Fallon is owed some vacation time, but Jarrett is too big a catch and too unstable to wait. Fallon's goal is to find out how Cody managed to unload $300,000 without anyone noticing, and to identify the fence who arranges Cody's jobs. Before going in, they check the prison records to make sure no one can identify Fallon, and although one name pops up, Beau Creel, the man will apparently be released just before Fallon shows up. When we catch up later, Fallon, going by Vic Pardo while he's in prison, has been hanging out with Cody since they're cellmates, but Cody doesn't trust them. Meanwhile, Ma Jarrett is holding Cody's place in his gang, but Big Ed is plotting with Verna to have a man on the inside bump Cody off. Sure enough, a man named Parker tries to drop a motor on Cody's head in the prison factory, but Pardo saves him just in time. Even still, Cody remains suspicious. Cody's mother comes to visit, and she explains how Big Ed and Verna have made their move, and Cody realizes the factory incident was no accident. Ma tells him she'll take care of Big Ed, which worries Cody and causes another headache when he gets back to the factory. Pardo covers for Cody when this happens, and only after this does Cody start to trust him. They discuss escaping early to help Cody's mother by disabling the prison generator, and Pardo arranges for a car with a radio oscillator from the Treasury men. But then things go south. On the day they plan to escape, Cody finds out that his mother died. And in an unscripted move that none of the other actors were warned about, Cody goes nuts, knocking out prison guards left and right until he's subdued by 5 of them at once. Sure enough, next time we see Cody, he's in a straitjacket and scheduled to be transported to an institution, but he's still sane enough to conspire with the inmate who brings him his dinner and arrange for a new plan of escape. Thanks to a smuggled gun, Cody holds the medical staff hostage and uses the doctor to get his friends in Parker out of their cells, and he uses his own transfer as cover to escape the prison. Cody's prison gang escape to a random country home, tie up their hostages, steal some new clothes, and as Cody casually chews on a chicken leg, he shoots Parker, whom he earlier locked in the escape car's trunk. We then see Big Ed and Verna as they prepare for Cody's inevitable return. Verna's ready to abandon Ed like she did Cody, but Ed threatens to tell Cody that she's the one who shot Ma Jarrett in the back. She tries to escape anyway, but Cody ambushes her in the garage. She uses this opportunity to switch sides yet again and claim that Ed shot Ma, and Cody believes her. But he also uses her to cover up his entrance and get the drop on Ed. Ed runs away the moment he sees Cody, but Cody catches him with a couple of bullets through a door. Cody connects with the rest of his gang and finds out Big Ed was planning to use a gas tanker they bought to rob a $50,000 payroll. Cody laughs at the figure, but he's impressed by the tanker, and he tells his men the story about the Trojan horse. Later, a man covered in fishing gear shows up and asks for a telephone, and while the gang is suspicious, Cody brings him into the house. Pardo follows, and he discovers that this man is the traitor, Cody's fence, and the man who's been laundering US currency by selling it off in Europe. The traitor has put together a plan to steal a $426,000 payroll from a chemical plant. Pardo, Fallon, now has the information he needs, but Cody catches him when he tries to sneak out. He explains himself by saying that he wanted to find his wife, and Cody has a remarkably touching moment where he talks about how he misses his mother. But since Fallon still needs to stop Cody, he turns a busted radio into a new oscillator and writes the frequency along with instructions to call the cops on a bathroom mirror when they stop for gas. The gang prepares for the heist by hiding in the tank and bringing in a driver from the chemical plant, a driver who incidentally happens to be the ex-con from earlier who can identify Fallon. Meanwhile, the Treasury men and the LA police follow the tracker as it moves down to Long Beach by triangulating its signal. The ending happens all at once. Cody's gang sneaks into the plant, and soon afterwards the police surround the place and start firing tear gas into the office building. The ex-con finally notices Fallon and blows his cover, much to Cody's shock and dismay. One by one, Cody's men fall as the cops chase them around the plant. His last man tries to give himself up, but Cody shoots him down. Cody makes his last stand on a large circular tank, and Fallon hits him with several rounds, but he keeps on laughing and firing back. A stray round ignites the flammable gas he's standing on, and just before it explodes he shouts, "Made it, Ma! Top of the world!" And so the movie ends. The analysis. A big part of the reason why White Heat and, in fact, most gangster movies are so appealing is because they feature the renegade archetype. The renegade has always been fascinating in just about every culture and time period, despite how obviously amoral such characters typically are. And there's a simple reason for that. They're honest. Cody Jarrett is a horrible person, but at least he's upfront with you about it. He'll kill anyone who gets in his way or slows him down, but he'll always let you know first, even if he doesn't always give you that much warning. Moreover, while Cody doesn't like to get close to other people, he's remarkably trusting of what people tell him. And that's because he's honest, both to who he really is and to other people. As to how we can admire that, well, here's the thing about normal people. There's no such thing. Everyone is a different flavor of crazy and weird. But some of us are able to hide our foibles while in polite company. We put on a mask to hide our imperfections and conform because that's the easiest way for everyone to get along. And there are some real benefits to doing so. White Heat actually makes a good case for why conformity is good. The treasury agents, the enforcers of society, have the advantages of numbers, technology, skills, and even treachery. Cody has his wits and his connections, but ultimately, inevitably, they aren't enough to stand up to society forever. The best he can hope for is to die on his own terms. Still, we admire Cody's honesty and his desire to set himself against society because we all wish we could do that. Take off the mask, drop the hypocrisy, and proclaim to the world just how strange and weak and vulnerable we really are and how we're proud to be unusual. This desire is especially hard to resist in times and places where conformity is unusually strong, such as the United States in the 1930s, 40s, and 50s. You may have noticed from LA Noire how, barring a few outliers, there are basically two types of white men and two types of white women. And that's not the developers being bad at casting, that's them being accurate to the time period. It's no wonder then that everyone was fascinated by renegades. Thanks for joining me again for today's film review, and I hope you'll join me next time for the film version of a half-hearted apology whose set we will be visiting within LA Noire itself.